Alright, hello once again, Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College. And as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD, or Application and Website Development Program, and in particular the AWD 1111 .NET Framework with Web Databases class, I've been preparing a series of video presentations that are based on the book that will be used for the AWD 1111 class in fall 2019. That book, as shown on the screen, is Pro ASP.NET MVC 5 and a press text by Adam Freeman. We are making our way through Chapter 20. Alright, there will be a new project that we're creating, so I'm going to grab this one. In fact, I don't see why we couldn't put it in here as another project right here. So I'm going to close this stuff. Okay, and we'll try it. If I have a problem, well, then I have a problem. As the author says here, in the previous section, we were able to create a custom view engine by just implementing two interfaces. All right, we got ugly views, but we saw how the concept of MVC extensibility continues throughout the entire pipeline. The complexity in a view engine comes from the system of view templates that includes code fragments and support layouts. I do not do any of these things in the simple custom view engine because the Razor engine takes care of it for me. Alright, only a small number of projects need to go to the trouble of creating a custom view engine. We would never do anything like this. This is one of those chapters that I'm putting in here, not as filler, but just for completeness sake. But that said, I have no desire to go over this in the actual classroom setting. For this part of the chapter, we have created a new project using, again, empty, checking, adding MVC, and it'll be called Working with Razor. So let's right mouse click, add new project. It will be our ASP.NET web application .NET framework. It'll be called Working with Razor. Okay, create. So we're going to have another one underneath here, empty, MVC folder structure, create. So we should see it right here momentarily. There it is. And we can come in here and add new controller, which will be empty, which will be called home. Okay, I screwed up the caseness and the spelling. Time to change that is now. And it changed it there, and it says, do you want to change it everywhere else? Yes. So it changed it there, and it should change it here too. Thought it would by default, but just in case, for renaming, we're going to change it manually then. Alright. We want the contents to look like this. So what do we have in here? An action result where we have a string array of fruit names that we're going to return. We also created an index.cs HTML, which, running it, should say this is a list of fruit names, and it should give them to us. Bolded. Let's run it and see if it works. it's still running the other one. That's on me. Stop the run here. So we will come in and run it from index right here. View the browser from here. There we go. The list of fruit names, etc. Okay. All right. I believe that when I set this up, I must have, in fact, I'm going to do this. Let's see. I'm going to remove the project. Unload, remove. And I'm going to recreate it. Why? Because I created it incorrectly. So let's right mouse click, add, new project. Okay. Will be ASP.NET, Web Application Framework, etc. Oops, I guess that isn't it. It's working with Razor. Alright, create. Is this another project already? Okay, I'll just call it Working with Razor 2. Create. We wanted it to be empty with MVC. I don't know why, but I must have chosen MVC or something. I'm just basing it on the stuff I had in there. Alright. So again, we're going to come in here, create a home controller. Let's close this. And again, we will change it so it looks like this. And then we will create a new view called index. And in that index view, we will add what you see right here. What I didn't want was all that other extra project structure stuff that we got by creating the new project. So let's come back to here. Let's go to our index and view it in the browser and see if it now looks the way I want it to look. Should look the way it looks in the middle of page 569, which means it should look like this. Well, I don't know why it's showing it to me like that, but it is. That's fine. Not worth. Probably could be a lot of things. So, all right. The Razor View Engine compiles the views in the applications to improve performance. The views are translated into C# classes and then compiled. That's why you can add C# code fragments. The author says here it's instructive to look at the source code that Razor views generate because it helps put many Razor features into context. The views are not compiled until the application is started, so to see the classes that are created by Razor, you need to start the application and go to /home/index. Which is where we were anyway. Okay. The initial request came to this. Conveniently, the author says here, classes generated from the view files are written to the disk as C# code files and then compiled, meaning you can see the C# statements that represent a view. You can find the generated files where they're shown. I'm not going to go in and look for those. The author says he found his, and if you look on 569 and 570, all right, there they are. He adds that first note that the class is derived from web view page T, where T is the model type. All right. This is how strongly typed views are handled. Also notice the name of the class has been generated. You can see how the path of the view files has been encoded in the class name. This is how Razor requests for views into instances, maps requests for views into instances of compiled classes. All right. The Razor engine follows a standard convention of looking for views. For example, if you request the index view associated with the home controller, notice where it looks. First, it looks for a C# instance under the views folder, under the home folder for index. If it can't find that, a C# HTML, it looks for a VB HTML. If it can't find that, it looks in the shared folder for both of those. First the C# and then the VB. As you know, the author says, Razor is not really looking for the files on disk because they've already been compiled into C# classes. Rather, Razor looks for the compiled class that represents these views. Okay? So he shows you here the Razor view engine search properties. We kind of just went over that. These properties predate the introduction of Razor. The following are the parameters that go into the parameter values that correspond to the placeholders. All right, so the 0 that's right there, that's the name of the view. The 1 that's right there is the name of the controller. The 2 is the name of the area. All right. So to demonstrate this, the author has added what he calls here into the infrastructure folder a class file called custom viewengine.cs. All right. And he puts the contents into there as shown on page 571 right here. And he says we have set a new value for the view location formats The new array contains entries only for .cs HTML files. In addition, we changed the location to look for shared views to be views/common rather than views/shared. Okay. We must register the derived view engine using the views.engine collection in the app start method of our global ASAX file. Name route config does not match the correct content. Well, there's route config. Guess we need that using statement right there. All right. To display the view, we added a new action method to the home controller as shown here. So let's add this to the bottom. Okay, we've got a list here that just, as you can see, returns the view. Start, and we're going to go over to /home/list. It says the custom locations will be used to locate the file in the views common folder. We may get an error here because I don't have one, I don't think. But we're going to try this anyway. All right. The big problem that I'm coming up with here is the fact that I changed the name and then I went back and added the name again, and with this working with Razor 2 MVC application, it says it cannot find this. All right. I can go in and I can change the namespace to working with Razor 2, which probably I should do anyway. Why the namespace has still got the old one, I'm not positive here. Okay, let me try that. Save all. I may be just taking something that's bad and making it worse. If we go from home index here to home list, all right, notice common list. All right, so it's not finding it. All right, I'm going to stop right here. And for this lesson, and I'm going to pick it up under adding dynamic content to Razor View in the next section of this chapter.